All right. Well, thank you so much again for everyone joining us here live tonight. And for those of us who watch us later, we are now streaming. And so I'll pass it over to our Executive Director, Julie Green, to get us started.
Thank you so much, Molly. And it is so great to be here in my house, but here with all of you. And I am just so thrilled to get to share this time with you. And I, more than anything, just want to welcome you all into the New Futures family. As Molly said, I'm Julie Green. I am so honored to be the Executive Director of New Futures and so pleased to get to spend time with you tonight. And the Scholar Award Dinner is always one of our most favorite events where we get to connect with you and celebrate you, our new scholars. And I know obviously this year is different. Under other circumstances, we'd be together, having a meal together, but I really hope that to you this evening doesn't feel any less special or meaningful. As you all know, knowing New Futures, we work every day to propel young people through post-secondary programs and into rewarding careers. And this feels as important as it's ever been, particularly following this year of uncertainty and the increasing inequities that uncertainty has brought to light. And so while 2020 was a really difficult and challenging year for many of us, certainly a bright spot of that year was getting to know and connect with all of you, our exceptional new scholars. So scholars, I want to say to you that we are so honored to be part of your journey. We're inspired by you, and we are proud to support you all along the way. Your dreams are our dreams, and we hold close to our promise to support you in all the ways we can to bring those dreams to reality. For any of you who watched yesterday's inauguration, you are no doubt still being carried today, as I know I am, by the words of Amanda Gorman, the incredible young 22-year-old woman who delivered the inaugural poem. And I encourage you all to read it or watch a video of it if you haven't yet. The poem is called The Hill We Climb. And in it, she says, "The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it." Whew, it's still hitting me. And I've been sitting with those words all day today. And I hope you'll join me as we all get brave to do the next big things that we dream of. So before I turn it over, I want to thank our fall 2020 selection committee, who worked incredibly tirelessly, particularly under totally new circumstances and in new ways to walk through our selection process virtually. So just huge appreciation to that selection committee this time around. And now I'm really thrilled to hand the program over to my colleague, Monet Blakey, who is our alumni program manager, to begin welcoming our scholars.
Thank you so much, Julie, for that kind introduction. Tonight, we will be kicking off this presentation of awards with our second-time scholars. Our second-time scholars are outstanding, hardworking students who successfully completed their first educational program at their respective institutions and have graduated with an associate degree or professional certification. They've each decided to continue with their educational journeys and have come back to New Futures to pursue a second degree. I am delighted to announce that New Futures has selected 14 extraordinary second-time scholars in our spring and fall selections in 2020. I can't wait to honor them tonight. As second-time scholars, as remarkable students in their programs, as emerging leaders in their fields, and as invaluable members of the New Futures family. Martha Rodon is the first second-time scholar who I will introduce tonight. Martha is attending Trinity Washington University, where she is majoring in biology. She will be giving a wonderful speech tonight that she has prepared. So Martha, I'm handing it off to you.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm just gonna dive right in. I'm greatly humbled and honored to be a second-time scholar here at New Futures. I would like to offer my sincerest gratitude to the New Futures team, Ali for being so warm and welcoming during my interview, Silvana for being such an amazing advisor and for caring for my educational journey as if it was her own, Monet for taking her time and explaining the application process and checking on my well-being during orientation, and Griselda for just being such an awesome person and organizer, and your optimistic attitude towards everything is a breath of fresh air to me. I did not make this journey here alone, however. Numerous people have supported me along the way. First, I learned that education was key to my success at an early age. I come from a low-income family that depends on government assistance, and I knew I didn't want that for myself. So I naturally grew to love education, and I graduated top of my senior class. However, it wasn't a smooth sail because since elementary school, I have suffered from an ongoing learning disability. But knowing this, I've also tried harder than the average student, and I had to study longer hours just to understand what some people would call simple concepts. But if I could go back and change anything about me or my life, I wouldn't dare. All of the challenges that I have faced made me the resilient and ambitious person that I am today. In my future career, I want to be a research scientist to help people find safer and better cures for hereditary diseases and cancer. My mom suffered from stage 3 cancer last year, and I've witnessed all the physical, emotional, and mental trauma that chemotherapy had on her. I believe that there are more efficient and healthier ways to cure cancer. In order to do this, I need to have a bachelor's degree in related science, and New Future has filled the gap in my tuition. Now, the best decision I have ever made in high school was to apply to become a New Futures Scholar. Ellie and Silvana were both awesome advisors who sat down with me twice a year to go over my school schedule, help me reflect on how the semester went, and to plan on how I should change my routine to prepare for the next semester. The attention and care from New Future and the advisors are unmatched. This isn't just like an equal opportunities program or a scholarship program. It's a family and an amazing support group, and I'm very proud and grateful to be a part of this. Lastly, I just want to end by saying thank you so much for your generous scholarship. Your kindness and hard work has enabled me to continue to study in the field that I love, and I will never forget your generosity and efforts to make this program so rewarding and supportive. Thanks again.
Thank you, Martha, so much for your honest and heartfelt speech. It really resonated. I can speak on behalf of the staff when I say that your words really resonated, and yeah, we really appreciate you sharing. Wow, really nice of you. Well, now I will begin to present our remaining second-time scholars. I will start with Adne. Adne Viata Chavez is attending the University of Maryland, College Park for a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Stephanie, our next second-time scholar is Stephanie Perez Rubio. Stephanie is attending Liberty Online University for a bachelor's degree in information systems. Our next second-time scholar is Gloria Funanitza. Gloria is attending University of Virginia for a bachelor's degree in political science. Our next second-time scholar is Inmer Jimenez. Inmer is attending the University of District Columbia for a bachelor's degree in computer science. Our next second-time scholar is Jose Solano. Jose is attending the University of District Columbia for a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. Our next second-time scholar is Karishma Parvez. Karishma is attending the University of Maryland, the University of Shady Grove for a bachelor's degree in nursing. Our next second-time scholar is Katia Castillo. Katia is attending the University of Maryland, College Park for a bachelor's degree in criminology. Our next second-time scholar is Ladice Lopez Cruz. Ladice is attending the University of Maryland, College Park for a bachelor's degree in Spanish secondary education. Our next second-time scholar is Natalia Parvez. Natalia is attending the Universities of Shady Grove for a bachelor's degree in nursing. Our next second-time scholar is Ramiro Forte. Ramiro is attending the University of Maryland Online Global Campus for a bachelor's degree in communication. Our next second-time scholar is Santos Amaya Guevara. Santos is attending the University of District Columbia for a bachelor's degree in political science. Our next second-time scholar is Vanessa Rubacaba Alvarez. Vanessa is attending George Mason University for a bachelor's degree in integrative studies with a concentration in liberal arts for the teaching profession. And last but certainly not least, our final second-time scholar is Yemi Orlana Alas. Yemi is attending George Mason University for a bachelor's degree in psychology. So let's just give a virtual round of applause to our second-time scholars. Thank you so much for being here. We are so excited for you all to continue with your journeys with new futures. And now I'll hand it over to our amazing Scholars Program Manager, Ali, to start introducing our first-time scholars.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Monet. And congratulations again to all of our second-time scholars. You all deserve that huge round of applause that I know you can't hear, but we're all clapping for you. And Martha, I know why you wanted to keep that speech a surprise. Thank you. Had me tearing up before it was my turn to go, but that was incredible. So thank you so much for sharing your story. So now it is my absolute honor to introduce and officially welcome the first-time scholars who've been selected to the New Futures Scholars Program to pursue an associate degree or professional certification. Scholars, as you know, we will be introducing all of you by your career pathway. I will be introducing our first 3 career pathways: information technology, health sciences, and construction and trades. And then I will hand it over to our amazing Assistant Director of Career Success, Jamila, to introduce the final 3 career pathways. All right, so let's get started. I'll kick us off with our information technology, or IT, career pathway. So our very first IT scholar is Roxolana Kozevnikova. Roxolana is pursuing her associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in computer science. Roxolana comes to us from the Next Step Public Charter School. She is also one of our scholar speakers this evening. So it's my honor to introduce Roxolana, and I will pass it over to you.
Thank you very much. Kudos to you for pronouncing my last name in a very nice manner. You actually nailed it. I'm also very grateful for all you do. And let me tell you my story. I have an advisor, Miss Anna, from the Next Step Public Charter School, and she told me about New Future Scholarship. And I applied in spring, then it was postponed till fall due to very obvious reasons. And I thought, well, the stars don't align for me this time. And in addition to it, I was skeptical. I was convinced that there are so many talented people applying who really deserve it. And I asked myself, like, why should it be me this time? And yet here I am, Roxy, giving you the speech virtually for the celebratory Scholar Award dinner with all the talented people who want to make a change. It all started on December 21st, 4 years ago, when I came to the United States of America, hoping to seek better life and a brighter future. And I intended to transfer to Northern Virginia Community College to save money on my tuition. And even though I was there for political reasons, I was a political refugee. And when I attempted to transfer, I was rejected due to the paperwork formality and have been told that I had to come 2 months earlier, which could have not been possible given my circumstances. And I became an asylee, and I have to come across many, many hardships and ever since. And I've been juggling restaurant jobs and got to know from my friends, apologies for this, it's my job. Yeah, so that's my job. So I'll talk about it a little bit later. So I was juggling many restaurant jobs and got to know from my friends about the Next Step Public Charter School. And I made it just in time to get my GED before I turned 25. And due to my hospitality lifestyle, there's no way I could afford taking evening classes because this is where you should get your income in the evening. And fast forward to March 2020 when COVID shook the world and I lost my job. And I was grieving for a week because this is how I grieve. And I decided to get myself together and look for options which will help me to turn my life around. This was the moment when I uncovered my old forgotten passion to quality assurance testing. And the thing is that I was stationed in Ukraine, but I had to leave because my life was in danger. And I have been always passionate about computers and tech, and I'm a tech junkie. And my cousin inspired me to follow this path. He's a performance tester, which is very, very tech heavy. And he inspires me every day to be passionate, follow the trends, and master new skills. Due to unemployment, I have applied to a grant in Virginia, and I finished the course, which allowed me to find employment in IT, but not without me passing simultaneously several other courses, which allowed me to become more successful during my interviews. And I realized two things. First of all, my education in Ukraine is nothing here. And second of all, it is very, very challenging to be a woman in tech. And I want to become an automation test engineer, which requires a lot of programming knowledge. And I believe that computer science will let me earn that key to open that door. And I'm working currently on Maryland COVID contact tracing. So, and as you may see, I have calls, I get messages right now. And this is when your job, it becomes your responsibility as a human, first of all, because lives are at stake. If something doesn't work as required, people may die because they may not be knowledge to the fact that they may get COVID. And some people are more vulnerable than the other one. And that's why sometimes it hits me very hard because it becomes my responsibility, not as a quality tester, no, as a person and as a human being. And tech is the future, and I believe that it can make the world better. And I won New Futures Scholarship, and I can tell you that New Futures gave me wings. Since the first email I received, I feel like they really care and they want me to succeed and they want us to succeed. And I haven't been so motivated in a very long time. And New Future team gives me all the warmth they have and support. And I have no doubts that my dream will come true and it will turn into reality very soon. And I also want to mention wonderful scholars and who shared their stories, which very, very inspired me. And I appreciate the fact that some of them actually saved me from a bad pre-calculus professor. So kudos to you too. And I want to wish good luck in your educational journey. And I believe in your success. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Roxolana. That was incredible. Thank you for sharing your story. It sounds like you are doing incredibly important work. Thank you for ignoring that phone call from your job to continue in your speech. So thank you for all that you're doing for us. And we're so lucky to have you. So thank you so much for that incredible speech. Okay, all right. So I will keep going introducing the rest of our IT scholars. So our next IT scholar is Filiberto Sanchez. Filiberto is pursuing his associate's degree from the University of the District of Columbia Community College in graphic design. Filiberto comes to us from the Next Step Public Charter School. Our next IT scholar is Gameli, or Ben, Fanuku. Ben is pursuing his associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in computer science. Ben comes to us from Genesis Works. Our next IT scholar is Hamad Farouk. Hamad is pursuing his associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in information technology. Hamad comes to us from Genesis Works. Our next IT scholar is Jayla Blanding. Jayla is pursuing her associate's degree at Prince George's Community College in Computer Science. Jayla comes to us from Genesis Works. Our next IT scholar is Mercy Osehuedi. Mercy will be pursuing her associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in cybersecurity. Mercy comes to us from Year Up. And our final, last but not least, IT scholar is Mohammed Kenneth. Mohammed is pursuing his associate's degree at Prince George's Community College in cybersecurity. Mohammed comes to us from the Carlos Rosario International Public Charter School. All right, let's hear it or give it up virtually for our IT scholars. Thank you so much, IT scholars, and congratulations. Okay, the next career pathway I'll be introducing this evening is health sciences. Our first health science scholar is Aislam Suarez Villavicencio. I hope I did an okay job with that. Aislam is pursuing her associate degree from Montgomery College in biological science. Aislam comes to us from the Next Step Public Charter School. Our next health science scholar is Melissa Lizama. Melissa is pursuing her associate's degree from the University of the District of Columbia Community College in nursing. Melissa comes to us from the Carlos Rosario International Public Charter School. Our next health science scholar is Natalie Contreras. Natalie is pursuing her associate's degree at Montgomery College in medical sonography. Natalie comes to us from College Tracks. Our next health science scholar is Hamanat Tesfaye. Hamanat is pursuing her associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in nursing. Hamanat comes to us from Urban Alliance. Our next health science scholar is Adelawit Tekla Hamanat. Adelawit is pursuing her associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in nursing. Adelawit comes to us from Urban Alliance. And our final health science scholar of the night is Norma Cruz. Norma is pursuing her associate degree at Prince George's Community College in medical assisting. Norma comes to us from Liberty's Promise. Please give it up for our amazing group of health sciences scholars. Yay! Congrats, health science scholars. Okay, now the final career pathway that I will be introducing tonight is construction and trades. So our one and only amazing construction and trades scholar tonight is Kevin Jimenez Gomez. Kevin is pursuing his associate's degree from Montgomery College in building trades technology. Kevin comes to us from College Tracks. So let's hear that round of applause for Kevin representing our construction and trades pathway. Great job, Kevin. Congratulations. Okay, I feel so honored to have just presented such an incredible group of scholars, and I will now give that privilege over to Jamila, our amazing Assistant Director of Career Success, so that she can introduce our remaining scholars.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allie. My face over here is getting so tight because I'm just so happy and so excited to be here with you all. So we're going to go ahead and move it along. So I am so excited to be introducing the scholars in our final 3 career pathways: education, hospitality, and culinary arts, and public service. So I'll start with our education scholars. Our first education scholar is Karen Guevara. Karen is pursuing her associate's degree at Montgomery College in secondary education. Karen comes to us from Liberty's Promise. Our next education scholar is Yodi Lopez. Yodi is pursuing her associate's degree at the University of the District of Columbia Community College in education. Yodi comes to us from Carlos Rosario International Public Charter School. Our next education scholar is Rosa Amaya Lopez. Rosa is pursuing her associate's degree at Montgomery College in secondary education. Rosa comes to us from College Tracks. Our next scholar is Natalie Pina Rodriguez. Natalie is pursuing her associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in early childhood education. Natalie comes to us from the Carlos Rosario International Public Charter School. Our last, but certainly not least, education scholar for this evening is Romary Mahiha. I hope I said that right. And I'm so sorry, Romary, if I did not.
Mejia.
Thank you so much. Romary is pursuing her associate's degree at Prince George's Community College in early childhood education. Romary comes to us from the Next Step Public Charter School. Let's have a virtual round of applause for our education scholars. Woo! Amazing. So our next career pathway is hospitality and culinary arts. Our first hospitality and culinary arts scholar is Carlos Morales. Carlos is pursuing his associate's degree at Prince George's Community College in culinary arts. Carlos comes to us from Next Step Public Charter School. Our next hospitality and culinary arts scholar is Catherine Rivas. Catherine is pursuing her associate's degree at Montgomery College in hospitality management. Catherine comes to us from College Tracks. Our final and certainly not least hospitality and culinary arts scholar of the night is Luis Armenta Valencina. Luis is pursuing his associate's degree at Montgomery College in hospitality management. Luis comes to us from College Tracks. Please give it up for our hospitality and culinary arts scholars. Woo! All right, our last group of scholars for the evening comes from our public service career pathway. Our first public service scholar is Cesar Minjavar Hernandez. Cesar is pursuing his associate's degree at Prince George's Community College in Human Services. Cesar comes to us from the Next Step Public Charter School and is also our last scholar speaker of the evening. Cesar, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you.
Great, fantastic. So, well, thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to the New Futures for giving me this opportunity. And also, I would like to say thank you to the NECTEX Public Charter School for bringing me here. So, well, the first thing that I would like to say is to introduce myself. My name is Cesar Menjivar. I'm 20 years old, and I am from El Salvador. I have been living here in the US for 3 years. And right now I'm attending to Prince George Community College, where I am studying human services because I want to become a social worker in the future. So what inspires me to study for become a social worker was to see all the injustices that we have here in the US, but also around the world. So I have witnessed this, unfortunately, these injustices. So that's why I want to be a social worker. So it hasn't been always easy. When I came to the US, I still remember I was in the airport, right? And there was a lady who was asking questions. I didn't know a word in English at that time because I was new here in the US. So I remember that I get afraid to since that moment I get afraid to even buy a coffee, to even go outside, to even ask for bags in the grocery store. So I know it sounds, weird, but that's what's happened to me at that moment. It was so difficult to overcome that feeling. But you know, the first thing that I did when I get graduated from the Next Tech Public Charter School was to study English. I still remember that I was, you know, there is a test. So in the test, I was placed for level 2 in English. So in the Next Tech Public Charter School, there are 6 levels. So when I was in level 2, there was a professor who was asking about what our favorite food was. You know, every single student was giving a full sentence, a full complete sentence. And I didn't know how to answer that question. You know, I was so nervous at that time that I didn't know how to answer that question. And I remember that a few months after that, we did the test again, and I was from level 2. I was relocated in level 5 and 6. So you know, at that moment, the same professor that asked me a question in level 2 was my professor in level 5 and 6. So I still remember that he told me, "Wow, I mean, I have never seen someone jumping so quickly in level classes." And at that moment, he gives me like more confidence, and I, you know, more motivation to keep doing what I was doing at that moment. So I remember that I knew that my weakness was reading and writing. So I say, I'm gonna take a course in a college. So I went to Montgomery College, where I studied reading and writing for 4 months. Every single day I was working there to improve my weakness. And after that, I remember that I say, I have to try, or I want to feel how it's like to be a college student. So I went to UDC and I registered three classes. It was a huge challenge. I mean, 3 classes, it was so expensive because they took me as a international student. So it's way expensive, you know. And so I didn't know that I'm not gonna fail this, because you know I have to do it. So I went there. Everything was amazing. I was just paying attention a lot, because obviously my English level at that moment was not the best. So I was always paying attention, taking notes every single day, and I was there. And I'm saying this because, you know, I know that English will not be a barrier anymore for me. And so if I can, so everyone here can. And finally, I would like to say, obviously, thank you to the next new futures for giving us this opportunity to continue our education. And I know that I always like to say this: you are not like spending money on us. You are like investing in the future of the United States of America. And I know that every single person here, even if we got different careers, every person here is gonna give back to the community in a different way. So thank you so much, and I appreciate everyone for being here.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech, Cesar. And thank you just so much for sharing your story. I'm so excited to see you continue on your journey to becoming within the human services pathway. So thank you so much for sharing. Our next public service scholar is Ira Chowdhury. Ira is pursuing her associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College in Administration of Justice. Ira comes to us from Genesis Works. Our next public service scholar is Efrata Hifle. Efrata is pursuing her associate's degree at Montgomery College in Criminal Justice. Efrata comes to us from College Tracks. And last, but certainly not least, we have Kelly Makimoto Murphy, who is pursuing her associate's degree from Northern Virginia Community College in Paralegal Studies. Kelly comes to us from the Carlos Rosario International Public Charter School. Let's have another round of applause for our public service scholars. Woo! Now I will hand it back over to Ms. Allie for our final remarks.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jamila. And thank you to all of our first and second time scholars. Congratulations. What a night. Scholars, thank you so much for your bravery, your honesty, and your passion. Thank you for sharing your stories tonight, for your ongoing excitement as you start or continue your programs, and for embarking with us on this new journey. We are truly humbled to be by your side. I would also like to extend a huge thank you to the New Futures staff for all of the hard work that you put into making this night possible. And in closing, thank you to all of you who tuned in tonight for being our partners and supporters in this work. And most importantly, thank you all for being a part of our New Futures family. Thank you all again. I hope you have a wonderful night. Please stay safe and healthy.